Guess what? We're more than just a pretty face, right, Goose? There you go. Next question.
I'm tired of being eye candy. I have more in me, than that.
That's what I tell everybody all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
They still don't hear the bass playing. They just see the looks.
Hey everyone, Russ and Ryan here from AMS. We had the pleasure of chatting today with Zakk Wylde and JD before their Zakk Sabbath set today at Starland Ballroom. We hope you all enjoy.
Welcome back to New Jersey, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you guys. When was the last time you were here?
It was a Black Label, right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. No, actually, and then I was here with Pantera.
Oh, yeah, Camden.
We played
And
at
then,
MetLife Stadium.
Oh, right, that little joint.
Yes. So,
Nice.
some Normo Dome or whatever. It's not a big college town anyway. It's from Boston. That's all there is. But, oh, yeah.
Totally.
So, yeah. But it's always good coming back. So, seeing old friends and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, yeah, without a doubt.
Nice.
Seeing all my buddies that haven't moved out of their parents' house yet still.
Hit
and
you
they're
up for
still
money?
there. Yes.
well, they'll be here tonight.
Yes.
They'll be here tonight. So.
Nice. Give you some free tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, awesome. I think I saw them in the parking lot.
Of course.
So that's good.
Yeah, they're ready here.
Can't make it up,
Yeah.
man.
But we were talking about this before. I think it was like 4 or 5 NAMs ago, and the guys at Schecter were saying, oh, you got to go see Zakk Sabbath. And I was like, it seems like a forehead slapping idea. Like, why didn't you do it sooner? Like, the idea of Zakk Sabbath. It's like,
Well,
it's perfect.
Well, I mean, actually, when me and Blasco started doing it, we were doing a Metal All-Stars thing. So, like everybody that plays hard rock music, I mean, it's like part of your education. It's like being a classical musician. Like, just going, well, what are we going to play? It's just like, well, ask them if they know any Bach, Mozart, or Beethoven, because it's part of your education. You'll know something by one of those guys. So it's just like, since we were doing a metal thing and it's like, there's no rehearsals, like Blasco would just go, should we just do, because we would always ask, well, how about we do like Snowblind or Into the Void, do a Sabbath, so War Pigs or whatever, because everyone pretty much has learned it at been in a cover band playing it at some point.
Sure,
We were
exactly.
15 at keg parties.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
Forever.
that was common ground for everybody. So then it's the running joke, just like Blasco would just say, should I just ask them if they know we'll do the Zakk Sabbath set. You know what I mean? Whatever ones we were doing, whether it was War Pigs, Into the Void, and Snowblind or whatever. So that was the running joke after a while. And then we just, so that's where the Zakk Sabbath thing came from. So, I mean, it's just like, and here we are now.
Yeah.
So
So it's kind of a joke, and then
it's
you're like,
friggin' hilarious,
Right.
man.
it is, but it's a perfect idea. It's like, that makes sense.
But also, I just tell everybody this. I go, the whole point of this band is not, it's just because Sabbath, when they originally, when they did the end tour, contractually, they had to sign that they would never tour again as Black Sabbath. So they cannot tour under the entity of Black Sabbath, Ozzy, Tony, and Geezer and Bill.
Right.
So that's it. It's over. So that's the reason why the promoters pushed the tour and gave them all that money and everything like that. So it was just like, we set this whole Zakk Sabbath thing up as a just in case break glass emergency thing. So this way they could all tour again, just in case they have gambling problems or whatever it is and they run out of money. So this way it'll be Zakk Sabbath. When Oz comes out, it'll be Zakk Sabbath featuring Ozzy Osbourne. Then we'll bring Tony out. It'll be Zakk Sabbath featuring Ozzy Osbourne and Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. Then eventually Geezer, then Bill. So it says Zakk Sabbath featuring Black Sabbath. So this way, they contractually, like Prince had to change his name to a symbol.
Right.
This way, Black Sabbath can tour again as Zakk Sabbath featuring Black Sabbath. So when they're playing the local Normo Dome, again, they can go out and the promoters can try and sue them, but they can't sue them.
No breach. There's no breach.
There you go.
That's
See,
fine.
That's a loophole.
see, and people,
Here's the moniker.
people
That's it.
think I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Suck on that one.
Well,
That's all I got to say.
Oh, there you go. Great interview. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So when me and JD, when the ladies say the only reason why they're where they're at is because they're good looking fellas. Guess what? We're more than just a pretty face, right, Goose?
without a doubt.
There you go. Next question.
I'm tired of being eye candy. You know what I mean?
Pull the hat.
I have more in me, than that.
That's what I tell everybody all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
They still don't hear the bass playing. They just see the looks. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
No, we heard the bass playing out there. It sounded
can't
awesome.
get past it.
It sounded
Actually,
good.
you're better off of you, though. Next question.
Boom. Sorry, bro.
When things did start to materialize though, with the project, like how did you figure you were going to initially approach it? Like kind of more from like a cover, hold true to that, or kind of take your spin on it? Like,
I think it's still no different than when we were playing keg parties back when we were 15 years old in high school. In the kitchen, in the basement, whatever. You know, you just learn the songs and play them, and it's just, you know, yeah, like, it's just us
almost
hanging.
Back to the classical music example, the Mozart and the Beethoven. Here, just going to keep it and play.
Well, yeah, the only thing we really keep the same
yeah.
is I try to remember all the lyrics.
Well, so there are some different lyrics sometimes, but, you know.
Yeah.
Just to see
It
someone's
depends on
life.
how excited I get when I get distracted by the goose's handsome debonair looks.
Some of the set lists too. You guys went deep. Like it's not just Iron Man and you know, like I Symptom of the Universe and like Tomorrow's Dream and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Totally, yeah. There's a lot of
you got to do all that.
Deep cuts.
Yeah.
We still are going to do Freebird, Stairway.
Well, of course. You have to do that.
Bohemian Rhapsody, we'd have to be.
Tonight?
Yeah, even though they have nothing to do with Black Sabbath. Any of these songs, they must be played.
And
but it's like Corrosion of Conformity. It's like equal parts Sabbath and Skinnerd in there. It's kind of a, you know, you could do that.
Yes, well, it is all coming from those sources.
Yeah.
But with the fact of the matter is we must play these songs because it's songs that people say, I never have to hear that song again.
Ever again.
Therefore,
now.
we will play it.
Oh, absolutely. Into the ground for 20 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least.
So we're using the Barbarian or what are we using?
Always the Barbarian. Well, you got to use it because I would say it's Lord Iomi.
That's what I figured. It was that vibe.
So you got to use the, it's got to use the Barbarian for that one. Yeah, totally.
Nice. And then with like Pantera, it's the Warhammer.
I've been using the the St. Dime Warhammer, and then I've been using the Barbarians on that one as well.
Okay.
So, you know. But,
and aside from like the shape of the style, I mean, you still got the same electronics, same layout, same neck. So it feels like home
all
whenever
all the wild audio.
Is it your neck?
Exactly. It's my neck.
Look at that. Man, it looks pretty good.
That's
same measurement.
That's his neck. That's his neck.
And all are loaded with your 8185s.
Yeah, the 81s, the 85s. I mean, it's everything that I've been using since Miracle Man, you know, with Ozzy. I mean, I just always thought that was, you know, bizarre when you have all these like tone chasers.
Yeah.
You know, like Billy Gibbons with like Tush, like dun, 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 dun. It's like, what is that? What are you using on that? And it's like, I use this amp right here and that guitar. Good. That's all we need to use from now on. That's it. That's like you have found it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just don't understand what like, I understand like, you know, the evolution and constantly wanting to change, but I'm just saying, or just try different things. You know what I mean? But I'm saying when you have like Angus Young, whatever you're using on Highway to Hell or whatever you used on,
consistent.
You and Malcolm used on Back in Black, you know, like for Hell's Bells. What did you use on it? We used that amp and those two guitars. Let's just use that because that like we know that sounds good. So like you already have what everybody's looking for.
Yep.
Totally.
You know, so like I've never.
And you don't like in box with that tells you like 50 different amps.
Right.
You got the amp you want. That's it.
No, but I always thought that was bizarre anyway. Like being
set it and forget it.
Being younger, you know, not knowing at the time, you know, when you're just getting into it, whatever. Right. It's just like, you know, and then you start learning more and more what different your favorite guitar players use or whatever. But it was just like, I was like, just keep it as simple as possible, and that like that's all. Like, you know, I mean, it'd be like me doing my thing now, going, well, what did you use on Miracle Man or No More Tears? Why are you not using that anymore?
Yeah, why aren't you using the old
pretty
tone?
good when you were doing, you know what I mean? So
it seemed like there was a similar school of thought. We were like here no more than 6 months ago in Starland with Nuno. And Nuno kind of seemed to take a similar approach. It was the tried and true, just like, here it is. Here's my piece of gear, my guitar, my N4, my amp same that I've been using for decades. And
people always ask us, have you checked out this fractal?
Sure,
have you checked out this pedal?
We're like, no.
But we're like, no, I mean, I kind of like what I use. And he, you know, obviously is doing, you know, he knows what he likes.
For me, it's always been like, Pat's also always had a distinct bass sound. You know, yeah, he can play with his fingers and he can play with a pick. But there's always like, you want to know it's that guy when he plays. You want to know it's Chris Squire when he plays. You want to know it's Geddy Lee when he plays. Sure. You want to know when it's John Paul Jones, you know.
Like Nuno uses this thing, like if he finds them on Reverb or Recycler or any of the used, you know, just used stuff, because they don't, first off, they don't make them anymore. So he'll be, you know, it's just like, Zakk, if any of your friends have them or any of my buddies have, I'll gobble them up. You know what I mean? Just so I have backups and everything like that. So, but it's just like, and like the whole thing is though, even though it's outdated, you know, and they've made improvements on it, you know, since the 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the coveted year. You know what I mean? It's just like, or certain years of Corvettes or certain cars or whatever. But I mean, you know, and I get it, you know, because each year we got to have the new and improved version of the shinier new version, just like at NAMM with amps.
What about
or guitars? I mean, like a Les Paul.
Sorry,
like there is no improvements on it. I mean, I'm just saying it's perfect, like a pair of Levi's and a Fruit of the Loom T-shirt. It will never go out of style. It's perfect. It worked when they first came out with it, and it's still perfect the way. Just you don't need to change it.
Why mess with perfection?
Yeah, it's simple. It works, and it's worked forever, and it will work forever. Because you know, I mean, it's just like. I mean, a Les Paul customer or less, you know, you're different models of them, but I mean, it's perfect the way it is. We don't need to deviate on the design.
Nope.
It's perfect.
And if you're on tour, I mean, you could go in any shop, get your sound out of the gear that you could probably pick up a couple Dunlop pedals.
I mean, I could go into the store and just as soon as they come here, when I get all the VIP guitars or anything like that, I'm playing them that night for the first time. I never even understood that anyway. Like if you're like, hey Zakk, can you grab me like two of them because I want to give one to my nephew and my niece or whatever. You know, just get me two good ones. It's like going to Dunkin' Donuts and go and get me two good chocolate eggplant. They're all the same, bro.
No,
like they're all crushing. Now. So I'll just grab you two. Like great. Even all when I was with Gibson and all my Eppies, all my Gibsons. There was never a bad one in the batch. I never picked one up and go, wow. I guess I guess I gotta talk to him about, you know, it's just like, man, this thing's terrible. You know, I mean, never, ever. No. You just pick one up and you go, wow, this thing plays great.
Well, and it's a great time to be buying gear because even you think about what you learned on and how crappy some of that stuff was, and now you can find a decent import guitar. And if it's from the right factory, it's perfect out of the box. I mean, you almost don't have an excuse to make a
like
crappy
I said,
guitar.
Anybody can really build a great guitar. I mean, but Schecter's been amazing. You know, like my basses, I don't even have to do anything to them when they send them to me.
You're ready to go.
They're like set up. They're all great. Because I'll play like a new bass and then it's like just like my old one. It doesn't matter.
You don't have to think.
No,
just
it's great. Man. It's not like like a lot of people like would play Lucille, right, or whatever. They're one guitar. You know,
like BB King. Kings.
No, I mean we could play any of the new ones because they're great.
Yeah.
Man,
and for your Schecter, you have a coil tap on yours, right?
There's a push-pull on it.
Okay.
But I don't even really use it. I just keep it the way it is.
Down?
Yep. I just keep it down and everything pretty much cranked up.
Plug straight into like your Hartke are you using?
Yeah, I'm using a Hartke and I got flat wounds on my jazz bass. I'm using that for this one because Sabbath,
Geezer
with the flats and I used a jazz bass back there, P bass, and
pay your reverence.
Yeah, so that kind of made sense.
Anything in between?
And it's simple.
Or is it pedal board? No pedal board?
Yeah, there's a pedal board, but not much to
fuzz
it.
Or something.
I got two sides, one clean side and one side with a little fuzz and like a wah and some stuff.
Fill out the sound. There's only three guys up there.
Exactly. So it's nice. So I got two tones going, a clean one and then a little dirty one. So it stays fat all the time, It's not like, when you put on distortion on a bass, a lot of times it'll suck it out to like the low end of it, So I keep that with the real side, and it's been great, man.
Was that a recent switch to Hartke?
No, I've been with Hartke.
You've been with Hartke for a while?
A long time, yeah. Okay. They're great to me. They're really good.
And they make a hell of an amp.
Yeah, I mean, and the power amps are great, and the LH1000 is what I'm using. These heads, they're simple. They were like modeled after the old Olympic preamp, but it's just simple, like. Bass, treble, and mids. That's it. That's all you need.
Dial it in.
And for you, pedal board wise, are you Wild Audio pedals?
Yeah, totally. Well, no, it's all my, just my Dunlop pedals that I've been using forever.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, and it's just simple and it works. So, I mean, like I had to get doing the Pantera thing. With Dime. I mean, Dime couldn't. I remember Dime. I sent him out one of my distortion pedals. He had his distortion pedal, my distortion pedal. Like you couldn't get enough.
Right, gain,
because Dime was all about that. I mean, Dime's playing was super clean, but I mean, but he just wanted the power and the muscle and like at all times. So I had to get one of those. Jimmy sent me out some of the smart gates, the noise gate.
Yeah,
I never used the noise gate before, because I had no need for it with Ozzy or anything like that, because I mean, it's just like vehicle, man. If we're going to stop, down, I would just turn the pedal off,
Right.
then step back on it. But like doing like Walk and certain Pantera songs, it's just like that noise gate's on. It's a lifesaver.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Well, yeah, because you don't have to step on and off
Every
and on
time
and off. I'm not tap dancing up there. It's just like Grady and Steve are over there because that's what they used to do for Dime.
Yeah.
So they would work the pedal board. So it's just like that noise gate. It's amazing.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because it gets ready. I mean, you don't even hear the waterfall with the distortion pedal.
Right,
on.
it just cuts right down.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you hear the just
I
the
still hear it.
waterfall. Just the white noise. But
Was
yeah,
that kind of like your missing link, though, when you were trying to go for that sound? Like, outside of the noise gate, was there anything else that you were kind of altering in the sound to accomplish that for Pantera? Or were you just kind of keeping it to...
Dime used the solid state amps. He loved those Randalls. So it was just, that was his sound. But I just used my Wild audio heads, which is, basically the JSM 800, the Marshalls. So it's just, and like I said, and that design too, it's a simple design. It's like a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
It's just
tried and true.
It works.
Yeah.
So, and there's not a lot going on, and it's just that's why it works.
So this might be a silly question, but in the studio wise, is it a similar approach versus the live?
It's just like I always thought that was weird.
You with like a Strat or
but I always
something?
thought that was weird anyway. Like I always read about, like once again, you read about all your favorite players. But I remember it was just like, do you use the same stuff live that you use in the studio? I was just like, well, why
for the most part.
But sometimes that's not the case, right? I mean, you see pictures or whatever, like, where's that guitar that they're playing?
I understand, like, if you want to use clean bits.
Exactly.
Yeah, use a telly or something.
For something.
Yeah, certain things I might use a single coil or the P90s or something like that.
But for the most part, it's all our same stuff. His pedal board through his amps, and we just mic
and I just turn it, if I wanted, I'll turn the gain down on the amp.
But
we want
head's
to
in the
super
room with
clean
us,
bits or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, but the majority of the time for this, if I want it clean, I just turn off the distortion pedal, turn my guitar down, and then and it's clean.
Really it.
I don't have an A/B switch.
Sure.
It. So when it comes to designing, like walk me through that. Like when Wild Audio is going to come out with a new body style or something like that, is it just out of the top of your head? Are you like, this would be awesome, let's see if it works, or is it?
Yeah, because we're all fans of guitars. I've never met a guitar I didn't like. I love the Fugly guitars.
Yeah, he loves them.
I love them. There's one of the pages I follow, Ugly Guitars. It's like, it's awesome. And it's hilarious because the gang over there just like puts up the most hideous guitars they could possibly find. And everybody makes comments on them, but I love it. It's just great. But so the whole thing is, I could just sit and just look at, like 2 or 3, 4 different bodies that are like really cool or cool designs, and you just like put them all in a blender.
Yeah.
And like the top horn is from like an idea that was inspired by this one guitar. The bottom horn is from another, like a 60s
like a
surf guitar or whatever.
Right.
And then the back end is kind of like from this one end, and the other end is kind of like, so you just mix mash them all together, and it's like, oh man, this came out pretty cool. So it's like, yeah, it's fun. I love it.
That's
just designing different bits and pieces of things. So
I like the Odin horn personally. I think the Odin, like the horn that comes out.
So obviously it's a twist on a Les Paul. So it's just or anything like that, or the Viking V, or obviously the Blood Eagle's a twist on the Explorer or whatever. So but you take classic designs and you tweak them and just bend them and mutate them into something else. So which is I just have a blast doing it.
Well, I heard about a new model that's coming out, and I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but the Goregehn.
The Goregehn's coming out, and then we just got one. I just got the body shape. I'm gonna have to check out the Berserker's that's on the on deck circle.
Okay.
So I just got the. I'm gonna check it out when we get home after the Zakk Sabbath run. The obviously we draw it out, and then we do a cardboard cutout of it. See if if it's too big or too small or whatever. And then after that, then we do the wood. Actually a body proto,
like a mock-up.
And just go, this is great.
Yeah.
And then it'll go into production. But so I'll check that out when we get home. But I just saw pictures of the body. It came out great.
Okay. Nice.
Insane. The Berserker, but the Goregehn will be up next.
How did the Goregehn come about as far as the design goes?
Same thing. It's just like looking at old cool like guitars from the 60s or whatever, and it's just like all different brands, you know what I mean? It's just like you said, it goes back to like the Ugly Guitar page or whatever, and it's just like You go, this would be cool if you put, I mean, I always loved this design or whatever, and, you know, like the top of it, and just like, man, that thing is hideous looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and then you just tweak, you know, certain areas on it, and then it's just like, then you got your own it comes into its own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny too because you could kind of take a classic look with some of these, as wild as they look, no pun intended. Like with the metal plate ones that like look like Zemetis.
Yeah, the ironwork.
Those things turned out amazing. Like we can't get enough of those things.
Yeah, it's like the tweak on the Zemetis.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So when
but who'd have thought that? I would never have thought that kind of motif would work on a Wild Audio, and it does.
Yeah, it's beautiful looking, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I've always,
awesome.
I've got a Zemetis and everything with a Black Label logo on it and everything like that. When the gang hooked me up with that, with William Hames, but I mean, and they're beautiful guitars too. So I mean, it's just like a little ode to the, the Zemetis metal.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's why we call it the Ironworks.
Yeah, we're waiting on more. I think we sold out of the first run.
Really?
Yeah, they did great.
Yeah, so we're going to do it on some of the other guitars as well. That obviously it has to be a flat body.
Got it.
It can't be an arch or anything like that. So you got to have the flat so you can stick the metal plate on there. But I'm going to definitely put it on some of the other fiddles as well.
That's a good idea. What's next? Other than, after this tour, what do we got going on?
I guess learning some new tunes for the Pantera sock hop coming up in February. So I guess, that's about it. Going to be going over to do some jamming with the fellas after we get done doing the Zakk Sabbath Tupperware Demolition Fest over here. So
Nice.
I guess this ends on the 20th. Then we go home. Then we got Pantera in February, and I think March we might have like something in Australia. Pantera, then we get back, and then I guess I'll be with the Goose at the Vatican.
March, April.
In April,
You track some new stuff. Awesome.
Got to get that in the can. It's like kind of funny. I mean, I'm just saying in regards that everything's got to get done almost like a year in advance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, you're booking a halftime show.
Right.
We already have it booked for the next three Super Bowls. You know what I mean? And you guys are working on production for what it's going to be, so we're not last minute and everything. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And that's the news cycle now, too. I mean, you say something's out, it's new, it's exciting, it's gone. Everything just goes. But before, you'd get a magazine, you'd pour over it, you'd look at everything that was coming out. Now it's like NAMM every 5 minutes or some update of the next thing.
Well, everything's got to get done in advance. I mean, because we're looking at, we just look at the schedule, and then it's just like where these pick and choose where we're going to do a Zakk Sabbath run or where we can do this or that. Like you said, because it's got to be done at least 6-8 months ahead of time, so you can even book the thing and arrange it. You know what I mean? So. When you were a kid, you just figure everybody just shows up.
Right.
Just go for it.
You don't even think about any of this.
There's 8 people here.
Yeah.
What kind of prep do you kind of go into as far as the new albums, whether it's Black Label or whoever? Do you do pre-production? Are you kind of writing songs now, or is that really
just whenever the fellas show up, we just go in the studio and start tracking.
Lockdown, kind of like
whatever happens that day, that's what we track.
It's really
chill,
simple.
Yeah.
No, there is no rehearsals.
It's just you go in, just like your buddies, and you're in.
And now the way we're doing it is basically the guitar tracks are done. Like the real tracks. It's not like scratch tracks that we played to them.
Okay.
No, these are the ideas. There's no scratch about it.
Let's say if it was...
This is it. Here it goes.
Let's say if it was Into the Void.
Yeah.
I'll record everything to a click track.
Okay.
And then, so like you actually hear exactly what it's going to sound. I'll double the guitars. I'll put everything on there.
We make it so it's done right away.
So when JD and JeBio come out,
it's in your blood.
They just like listen to it, and even if there's parts where it speeds up and slows down, like Into the Void, down,
that's the way it is.
Jeff will just stop right here, and then it'll come into this section, down, and then after 2 turnarounds, come in. Do a drum fill, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
And then Jeff will just listen to it and go, all right, let me get in there and do it. Listen to it a couple times, go in there. Jeff plays like 2-3 times. If there's something he wants to fix, he goes right before it goes at the end of the solo, I want to put a different fill. I go in there, he'll listen, play, does his fill. It's like comes in, listens. He's like, all right, good, next song.
Yeah,
just do it.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we used to do rehearsals and drive the songs into the ground. I'm saying with the boss, with Oz.
Sure.
And I was just like, we already know the songs. And then when you look at Sabbath, like Ozzy said, that first album was. They were already they recorded the album in 12 hours and mixed it away because
a year.
Zakk, that was our live set.
Yeah.
And we just went in the studio and recorded it. And we all stood there. When the guys were jamming, I just stood there and waited until a cue, a certain guitar cue or whatever, drum fill.
Yeah.
And then I knew it was time to come back in.
Yeah.
And then when they got to Paranoid, it's just another perfect example. They had all the songs written, everything was done. They went in the studio, recorded it, and then I'm like, JD, you need, fellas, I need you to record one more song. We need more time. One more song for like 3 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, I'll go make a coffee run, and then you guys all right, Zakk, give us a couple minutes. And then JD just comes in there and goes down, 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 down.
Yeah.
And then you're like, down, down, down.
And then then like,
you just
minutes.
you just start singing the melody or whatever, and then you're writing lyrics.
Right away.
And then you guys track that. I go, wow, what is that one? An old song? You go, no, we just wrote it. No, so what I'm just saying is no rehearsals, no nothing. They just wrote it right there on the spot.
Magic.
But you had your back against the wall too. That's a good motivator. It's like we need one more.
But like you said, and here, that's one of their. That is the.
It's an evergreen.
That's the encore.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is the song.
It was a throwaway.
It's crazy.
And you just wrote it on the spot.
On the spot.
So that goes to show you. And I understand the old adage of like, because you're paying for studio time.
Right. So you wanted to
So
be
I don't want to have you guys
there.
dicking around when you get in there.
Right.
So I understand that you guys want to be, the songs and you know what you want to do, and then we can just bang them out and get it done. So I understand that too, because money's, we only have X amount of money and we have X amount of time.
Right.
So now we have the studio.
Now you got it at home.
Now it's
but I mean,
different world.
I mean, I'm glad we did it that way, just so I could go. We don't need to do this, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because and not only that, to me, after 3 takes,
It's over.
It's
the
gone.
magic is gone. And most
Well, we really appreciate your time today, guys. We got one last question for you. If you had to pick one collaboration that maybe nobody even heard of because it never materialized, is there one that you could share that comes to mind where you're like, yeah, that was not going to happen when it came across my desk?
Well, I would just think not even to have a collaboration, but just to own the publishing for White Christmas would be nice.
that would be good.
I'll take it.
Then you can afford that extra slice of pizza or pop. When we're at Joe and Pat's, I'm like, Goose, get that extra slice in that pop. I just secured the rights for White Christmas.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thanks.
guys.
You got it, brother.
Thank you.
Talking.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe for more content like this from AMS.
Enjoy!